Now I'm gonna
We
stop.
can.
Can you share any specific changes or additions you made in the adaptation process to enhance the story's impact on screen?
Um, love this question because it allows me to give credit where it's due. I didn't really line change anything. There was so much potency that Angela Nissel, and I hope I'm getting her name right, in terms of her script. And I think what made this experience great was that, like, if there was anything that I felt like needed adapting or changing, I, could talk to Jordan about it, could talk to Kara Brown, who I believe was a co-EP on the project. And we were there in real time and figuring it out together. And so, would hear a line, I might suggest something, they are immensely better writers than I am, and would come up with something better. And like, it just kind of became so much better once we got to set. I feel like my stamp was really in the visual making of it, and just kind of really leading head on just the production design and what that brownstone looked like. Some comedic elements, like how do I, honor what's on the page, and then just sort of what are we saying to each other that's not on the page. And of course flagging anything that like didn't quite, I thought, resonated. But to be honest, like they, like Jordan and Gus and everyone who wrote on the show, and it was just like impeccably run. Like there wasn't a lot where I had to be like, oh, this scene doesn't work. It always worked. And I think I think that also made this quite a blessing, to be honest, was just the level of excellence all around that came on set, prepared. And it was fun to kind of experience also seeing the different drafts, because I think when I was directing, I didn't know how it ended, so there was that element of just diving into the deep end and like just swimming, but having a lot of trust and kind of feeling emotionally, okay, what are the questions we're asking?
Yeah.
What are the themes that we're picking out here? So yeah, in terms of the adaptation, is just like, bringing up the gestural choreography and the laughs and this sort of like tension with the whimsy that's offered, the horror, the levity, the drama. There's so many plot twists and turns. And it was a plot twist too, where I was like, I don't know how it ends, but this is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's kind of what I could bring to it, was just like how I experience and see the world, and kind of just ride that wave of getting what Jordan and Gus kind of brought us all there to do. So it was quite wonderful. And shout out to Zakia, who wrote an amazing novel for us to kind of reflect on.
Nice. Aurora, do you share that same sentiment with Naima?
Yeah, I do. I was trying to remember, what makes Jordan and Gus such great showrunners is that they're very collaborative. And for me as a director, yeah, we talk about, if there are any story elements that aren't tracking, and, but I can't remember the specifics. We had so many conversations that I cannot remember. But the other thing is just making sure that the scripts that I received were producible. And I think that's where a lot of our focus was in making sure that I could deliver the episodes, because they're both very ambitious, a lot of locations, intense scenes, different tones. And so I think that we were in a lot of conversations around those things. And so I'm, there's so much that it's all kind of a blur, but what was essential, and I don't always get, are showrunners that are very much about creating something together that works. you know, and that they hear you, they respect you. I definitely felt that from them. So we were a team moving forward, you know, because the train had left the station and we were seeing, you know, almost arriving to the next stop, and we just wanted to make it there and get there with a lot of sense of pride in what we essentially, you know, finished making with the show. So yeah, so that's what I would add to what Naima was saying.
Thank you. And then going a little bit deep into that, if you can still remember, I know it's all a blur. Were there any like particular scenes or moments that you found particularly challenging or rewarding to bring to life?
Yeah, I think for me, the scene that I was most I was excited about several scenes, but the one in episode 8, which is when Nella goes to the Ascendant Book Party, and she realizes she learns the truth, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it. So she learns, she thinks she knows, and then she really knows, and just that crushing moment, and that she experiences it in front of everyone, was something that I was really excited about capturing, and really bringing the audience in with Nella as this comes down on her, because I feel like, you know, at least in my episodes, and a lot of them, I felt like it was, you know, the POV is strongly hers. And so I really, at that point, felt like the audiences really were side by side with her on this journey. And I wanted the audience to really feel what Nella was learning in that moment, and being able to bring that visually to life, and also provide a space for St. Clair, who plays Nella, to go there was really incredible. So that was one of my highlights, was that particular sequence.
Thank you. And for you, Naima?
Can you do me you cut out for me on this end? If you could repeat the question.
Yeah. Were there any particular scenes or moments that you found especially challenging or rewarding to bring to life?
Yeah, I mean, they were both just such fun episodes. I really did love the hair party scene. It's like, it was just so fun. I love working with an ensemble cast. And you know, Brittany, who plays Malika, is just so funny. Like, she's so funny, hilarious. And you know, I think working with, I'm trying to remember how many, 6, 8, 10 actors at the same time, and figuring out how those shots are going to work and how we're going to feel like we're in the room, and making sure that the lines land. I think, you know, just really excited me. I'm always up for what other people think is a challenge, but I am pretty confident about like being able to meet that, especially if, you know, I got to have a wonderful team who was just really in it. You know, like Andrew Jackness, who did the production design, and Cairo Quartz, who did an amazing job on wardrobe, and you know, just getting to be at location and kind of walk through those things with the DP. It was just exciting, and I felt like the hair party offered a moment to kind of, you know, play with the genre of the horror a bit. There was, you know, moments of surreal, and how do we show a flashback that's happening in space, so like the past meeting the present. And you know, using jump scares for also laughter, and kind of getting at what these psychological horrors are. So it's not horror and like but
Yeah.
it's like oh, it resonates, and in this like special, unique twist of a way that makes the show very like special, because you almost even can't place it. It's just doing a nice little dance between all of these different genre elements. So for me, the hair party was definitely a place I really love to play, you know, and making that place feel like honey, because it's like something that Hazel says is like you trap more, is it you trap more bees with honey? I don't know. I don't know what to say, but
Something like that.
but I was like, it's gotta look fly. You have to want to be there, you know, and just what does it feel to get this kind of like veneer of sisterhood that doesn't feel quite authentic, and like how creepy is that? So I think, you know, I really just love the hair party scene.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's what's one of the great things about the show is like there's a lot of dynamics to play with. Like it's comedy, there's that funny moment you have in it, and then it goes to like thriller and like something's about to happen. Like, what is it? So I think something a lot of audiences can like tune into with those elements in the show. Okay, last question here. The book explores the experiences of Black women in the workplace. How did you ensure that their perspectives were authentically portrayed in the series? And anyone can start with this response.
You want to go, Naima?
That's a good question. How can you say the last part for me?
Yes. How did you all kind of ensure their perspectives, Black women, were authentically portrayed in the series?
That's a fascinating question. I think as a director, you know, who's worked in television before, I think it's really important to come to the space with my experiences and also respect every artist in the space. And I think, you know, in the way that Zakiya trusted the showrunners, trusted Rashida Jones to sort of give her novel new life, I felt like that was sort of the process every step of the way. So, you know, I could only speak to my experience, and I would share that as much as possible with Jordan Redout, who's one of the showrunners, with Ashley Murray, who plays Hazel, with Sinclair Daniels, who plays Nella, like what it was like for me. But I also really trusted their experience and what the work that they were doing with the characters before like I even got into the process. Because I think when you jump in at episode 6 and 7, there's already a world being built. And so, you know, it's really at that point, you kind of jumping into a sandbox where there's already castles and there's already moats and there's already, you know, people already playing. And it's like, how quickly can you kind of adapt while also bringing your own idea of like what palette is going to work, or what's going to be the most enticing space for this hair party, or, you know, where are you placing the camera? Is it moving a bit more? Because I have a background in dance, and like, you know, I felt like ballet was white supremacy when I was dealing with it. So like, you know, you're coming at it with all of your own experiences of what it was like for me personally to come up in, you know, in spaces where I may have been the only Black femme person in the room. But at that point, it's like everyone's bringing so much authenticity, experience, and you respect that. And then you build off of that to figure out like, well, what is going to be, how are we going to elevate that in this scene? You know, now knowing what we know, how do we elevate that? And then like, and bring it home. So that was just sort of, you know, my take on how I work, and how to make the characters authentic is respecting everybody's experience in the process.
Thank you. And Aurora?
Yeah. So like Naima was saying, I think that when we got the latter episodes, so a lot is already established. And for me as a creator, jumping on a show as a woman of color, when I'm presented material that center women of color, I immediately ask, who are the creators? I want to know if, you know, are these white people writing? Are these, you know, people of color writing? And so when I learned that there were people of color behind the scenes writing, then I knew that there was a level of respect and also just a connection to real experiences that I think capture the nuances of what women of color go through. And myself as a brown woman, you know, coming into a space knowing that, you know, this is centering Black women, like I think that I'm conscious of that. I really want to listen to what the writers are saying, especially Jordan or Zakia or Rashida, because Rashida actually was on set with me for a couple days, which was really awesome. And really taking note to incorporate, you know, if they're saying, oh, it's missing this, that it's missing that. You know what I mean? Like I'm mad paying attention to that. And my, you know, my how I take up space. And I think the other thing for me that I set out to do to establish or maintain authenticity is to protect it. So how do I protect it? Like, one is making sure that women of color are heard, from the writers to the actors on set. But also like even fighting for time for these women to be able to find the truth of that moment for them. And that really brings that authenticity to the forefront. And so, and that happens in pre-production and looking at scenes that are going to require time and fighting for that, because I know that these women are going to want to have the time to be able to dig deep, so that scene really resonates as honest and truthful. So I try to be a protector of it. And that's sort of kind of, I feel like, what I did on this one and I've done on other shows. Especially when, you know, we might have like, you know, showrunners or people of color, but then there are other parties that are looking at the clock, you know, and they're like, you know, we gotta do this, we gotta do that. And it's like, no, we got to protect these women who want to bring their artistry to the forefront in this moment, because this is a really important moment, and letting them do their thing. So yeah, I think that on that level, that's sort of what I do.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time today. And we'll be in touch and, you know, send run dates of when these interviews will go live.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, have a good rest of your day. Bye. Both.
Aurora, so good to meet you. See you.
Yeah,
again.
it's good to meet. Well, you're in New York, and maybe if
I'm
you
in New
come
York.
to holler.
Okay. I
For real.
messaged you. I'm trying to be your friend on Instagram so I can.
Oh, you did?
Yes, but I think I have your email. I will email you.
Yeah, no, that'd be great, because I know that we didn't really get to talk when you were directing.
I love your episode. Like, very sharp.
I appreciate it. And yours too, which was probably the most challenging one.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
the
crazy.
episode was very challenging. Like, that was a tough one, and you like killed it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's stay connected.
Yes.
And ciao.